So what you'll do is start a new document. You can either do Command N or actually go to File and hit New Document. And it'll be 8.5 by 11. And for this one, you will want facing pages set on. You'll want 52 pages. And make sure you have your margins in here at 1/2 inch and your bleed at 0.125 inches. So you can hit create. So you will start off with the document looking like this. So what we will do first is let's add the numbering system. So if you go over to your master pages, add a new text box. If you go to type, insert special character, then markers, you'll see current page number. And you can see now that it has an A. That's because in the master pages, this is named A. So you can give this whatever styling you'd like. You can copy it then to the next one. And both pages now will have the current page number, which is A. Now, since we only had one master page set and we only went and edited the default one, all of these already have A. We will change that in a little bit just because I'll show you a better way to do like a template for all your page layouts since they all generally look the same. But one thing about this project is you actually want to start page numbering on the inside pages. So technically it would be page 3. So to do that, you'll go to page 3 and go to numbering and section options. And you want to start your page numbering here instead. So make sure it starts at number 1 then. You can hit OK for that. So essentially we created 2 page numbering sections. There's one right now that starts on the first page, and then there's one that starts on the 3rd page, but we had it start at number 1. Does that make sense so far? Yeah. So to do it again, I just hit undo for this. So automatically it'll just go 1 through 52. So if you actually go to the page that you want to start, which for this project it would be the first inset page, so that'd be page 3. So you will just right click on the board, go to numbering and section options, and you're starting a section here, but this is already checked. You'll go to start page numbering at 1. If you left it as is, it'll do it automatic and it would be 3 still. So you hit OK. That thing that pop-up just says there's already a page section already here, so you're overwriting it, and just hit OK. Okay, so right here, it'll have 1. So what you want to do for the first 2 then is give it no master page, and that's how you get rid of the 1 and 2. So on the cover page, there's no numbering, and then the first page here, there's none. And actually, you'll want to do it too on the last page. And probably this one. I'm not positive. I believe you probably do though. Okay, so that's how you do numbering. Does everybody get that? Okay. So the next thing we need to do is actually set up how to add your stuff to this. So I'm gonna make a couple, well, so everybody, and when we are done, we'll have a document that looks like this. This is the actual page designs for all 24. So when you're done with this, what you'll do is export the files. So you can either hit Command E, let me see, or go to File, Export. I already have this, but I just have a folder that's already named this, but you can name it essentially anything you want. The important thing in here, though, is to say create separate PDF files. Make sure that's checked. Otherwise, you'll get one PDF that'll be 1 through whatever with all of them, and you don't want that. That's just an extra headache. Let me see if there's anything else you need. You do not need crop marks on here just because we are putting it into with the booklet. Include the bleed settings just in case you guys do have like a rule or something that goes off to the page or a black field or something. But the rest of it should be good. Make sure it's all, and export as pages, not spreads. So if we go over to what we gotta wait for it to actually, there you go. Now, because I already had one named this, it named it 1, but this is the one that we just exported. And if you see here, it goes all the way through each one in their individual. So that's important because we need to add them to the booklet. So we actually will not start on page 1. This will be your table of contents. So we'll start here on page 2. And you can hit Command D to place or file place. Find all the files that we just did. Now page 1 is going to be that facing, because we have facing pages, it's that blank one I had at the top, so just ignore that one. So if you go to 2 and 3 are the ones that we did for indent. So you're going to choose whatever one you liked better. And make sure you're checking show import options. This is important because it will automatically give you a transparent, and it will not be 8.5 by 11. So because if you look on this one, I have like a lot of white space at the top. It would cut it off, like cut all that white space off. So it won't be the right size. So make sure you do show import options. So we'll go in here. For this one, let me do bleed. I'm trying to think if I need it or not. I don't really need it either way because I don't have anything going off. But it will annoy me, so I basically told it to include everything, including the bleed, and I lined it up to the bleed mark here. So that is my side that I'm saying is my better option. And as you see here, I have the colophon thing explaining here's your text. This is what my headline is and my byline. You will need to do that for all of your final pages, not all 24, or I'm sorry, all 24, but not every 2. So whatever one you choose is better. You would never see it anyway if we did it for the smaller one. So we need to add the other one now. So hit Command D. So that would be 3. And make sure your show import options is on. This one we won't include the bleed. We'll just do trim. And we need to put this at 50%. Then what we'll do is add a nice paper background and a black stroke. This is ultimately dependent on your design, but just so you guys can see. I'll put this down here. So that is my option, or my other option that was not my favorite. And then the other thing you need to do, here, I'll make another. I made another text or another field here that is 8.5 by 11 because I'm going to resize it to add my sketches. Now I did it this way because my sketches are like one page and then there's one per each. It's going to be the same with, I'm assuming, all of yours. So I'm going to have to place it and rearrange it inside of the box. So I'm starting with the box first is what I'm saying. So I made the 8.5 by 11 mask here. I will also add the paper background and add a black stroke. I'll end up having to change the stroke in a second again because I'm going to resize this to 25%. And when you do that, the stroke's going to be also 25%. So we'll make that back to 1. I'm duplicating this, which was Option and Shift and drag, or you can click it, hit Command C and Command V, or you can right click and hit copy, right click again, hit paste. Doesn't matter, all I was doing was duplicating it. What you should do is make sure this is the same size if you want to get really crazy about it. So I'm going to measure. This is just for a guide for myself. I used to do this all the time. So that would be exact right there. So to put the sketches, let me see where I have those. Should be in here somewhere. Okay, these were all of my sketches. So all I did here was click it and hit Command D. Find your sketches, which I have it under thumbnails. And this one's not important to have this. It's already an image, and it's just going to drop it in. So I hit A, the direct select tool, and I'm going to move this. Now, of course, it's not the one that I needed, but we're going to pretend it is indent. Well, actually, let me find it so I could show you guys the right one. Oh, it's going to be this one. Okay. So back over here, Command D. And you are just going to try to make this look as decent as possible. Let me scale this up a little bit. Typically, you will never do this, but you want it to be 300 DPI still. But for demonstration purposes, you get the gist. So you can copy this, paste into, and this is my other version. Something else you'll want to add is an indication about which one this is. So this would be Exploration 1. And it's paragraph indicator indent. Change the type up a little bit. Something else you can do is add a character style to these. So once you have 24 of them, if you ever wanted to change it, you don't hate your life. So go over here, character style, exploration headline. Do the same thing here. I don't know, actual exploration name. So that would be your first page. And once you design your first page, what you can do is actually make a master page for this. So you don't have to make it every time or keep duplicating it. So you can copy all of this. Make sure you're in here. And hit create new page, and you'll get a B parent. You can hit Command V to paste what I just copied. Line it up right. If you hit A for the direct select tool, or it's just over here on the side, direct selection tool. What part? Oh, make sure you're up here in the master pages, and you will just click this little button down here, create new page. It's the same way as the bottom, like to create a new page. Just make sure you're in that section. So I'm just going to go in here though, and with the direct select tool and delete these, but watch that I still have the actual frame. Same here, delete these, but the frames are still there. I mean, I can go in here and then say, make it so it doesn't actually have one. But basically, this is your template. Let me think the best way to. So what you'll have to do then is select all of the ones that will have this template, which would be 2 through maybe 47. I'm not gonna do that math real quick. So I've selected all of these. I'm essentially giving them all the same master page without going individually and dragging. So apply parent to pages. Make sure it's your right parent. So it would be B 2 through 47. Now don't panic about the numbers yet, because we're going to add them back. This one you actually didn't need to do that one, but since we already did it. So start from 4. Just so I don't have to redo work. But you could actually start by this way. Instead of how I showed you how to set it up, like as just one, you can start in master pages. Okay, so if you see, all of them have this template, minus the page numbers that we'll add back. So you have to go through though and override all of the pages, because right now you can't select them. So you'll select all the ones you want to edit and right click and override all the parent page items. So now they're all selectable. Now after you do this, you cannot go back to your master page and edit it, like without having to reapply it and re-override everything. This is just so you don't have to copy and paste it 50 times or whatever it is. 48 times. But then we are gonna reapply A again to get our pages back. So go back through, whatever one that you see has B, select all those. It's the same thing, we're just putting A back on it. There's your page numbers then. I'll do one more for accent so you guys can see it again. So this would be building it then from your template. So you'll select this frame and hit Command D. Go to your pages that we created from the other document. This one would be 4 and 5. Oh, show import options. This one's to the bleed. You'll select this one and hit Command D. And hit your other option. And this one is to the trim. Now, something that you will have to do with the template is make sure this is resized because the frame is at 50%, but your actual file is at 100. So you would hit Option and Shift. I think that's what it is, or was it Command? Option and Shift. And that's gonna drag it in from the center. Then you'll hit Command D again, and this would be adding your sketches. And resize it. Try to get a good scan of your sketches. I bet you this is a bad file size. It's even RGB. Yeah, you want to do 300, and you will want CMYK. So just get a good scan. I don't have a good scan of these. Don't be dumb like I was in this class. So hit this frame, and I copied this. So all I'm gonna do is paste it in here, paste into. You can drop it in again, it's just this is a little easier than resizing it again. All right. So then you would have to go in here and actually name it what this is. So this is exploration 2, and it's paragraph indicator extent. All right, then that's all for that one. And keep in mind, I would have to add the colophon, but I would do that in this document. So you would actually go in for each one. Now you can see that I did not add one for this option because I didn't choose this one, but I chose this one. So I added it here. And you can always export these files before you're done just to get them like in the document, and you would just update the files. So you would just re-export all these when you're done for the final. So if you don't want to do the little colophons yet, it's fine. And just get your designs in there.
That just is like the type that we used and then
Yeah.
and
It's like all the explanation of what it is. I can actually show you. Hold on. Let me look at this. Oh, that's the wrong document. I can't edit that. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually going to move it so we can see it a little bit better. So this is exploration 1, paragraph indicator indent. For the body text, it's 8, 11, which is 8 font size and 12 track or leading. Flush right. That'd be flush left. Sorry, that's supposed to be flush left. Oh, I found a lot of mistakes like that in mine. I actually had the wrong paragraph indicators for a lot of them. Like I called it something else, and it drove me nuts when I was looking at this again. But the body type, the typeface then is Adobe Caslin Pro. Then for the headline, which you would not have for this specific one, but I did. But for your examples that have headlines, mine is 2326, Myriad Pro Bold. And then I have a byline, that's 1216 Adobe Caslin Pro. And then the indents are 1 pica. So any kind of, you're basically doing this so if somebody else wanted to recreate this, they have all the ingredients they need to make it. And there's a lot of examples of this in the book too. Let me see if I can find a rule, because they get a little crazy. Of course, I don't have a rule one in here. That might be the only one I actually left because they were so messed up. Oh, wait, here's one. So here's exploration 12. This was capitals. I have 912 Caslin Pro semi-bold for small caps. My body text was 812. Here, I'll show you what, this was the first words that I was talking about. And then I did the body. The headline's 20 point. I should have added the leading in there, but it's okay. I have it here. This is the byline. Now, I should have said what point size that is, but you can look in the book and see how they treat that specifically. One more thing I wanted to show for this is how to do the table of contents.
You don't have a preference, like how it's like set up in there, like if it's like up the side or like in the corner? Or
No, it's another design element that you can play with. It doesn't have to be anything specific. I think the book had like a lot of different options. Okay, so to do the table of contents, which would be on page 1 here, make a text box. I'm just gonna add in here something so I can get started. So I'll have paragraph, oh, it's indicator, not indent. And then I'm gonna do a tab. I know I said before to stay away from tabs, but for here you're gonna need it. And this would be page 2 to 3. So you wanna have an end dash since it is a range, so you would hit option and hyphen. So 2 to 3. We're going to create a paragraph style with this. Name it table of contents. We will change it from the default minion. I think I was using Baskerville. Let's do 1014. This is essentially whatever you guys want to do here. Maybe, I don't really need to give it tracking. I don't think I need any of this. And I'll give it a little bit of space. You're not going to see anything because I only have 1 right now. Let's do quarter. You will need to go in tabs though. This is how you're gonna, if you want to do it this way, this is how you're gonna have all those leading dots. Don't have to, but I know a lot of people like to add that. So you need to drop in one of these, if it'll let me. There it goes. You see this little arrow? It's like very tiny. You guys can kind of see it up there. Let me see if it'll meter. It's not adding it. Oh, there it goes. I must not have had it set. All right. So I'll show you that again because that kind of jumped around a little bit. It's under tabs. There, it's gonna move now. Can you see it moving if I drag this arrow? And make sure it's this little arrow here, the right justified tab. And I'm actually gonna put it really close to the edge because that's where I want it. And I added the little dot here for the leader. I mean, this could be whatever you want, but add the little dot. Something else I'm gonna do is add the exploration number since I don't wanna type that out a million times because I'm lazy. So if you go to, where is it on here? There it is, bullets and numbering. You'll choose numbers because you actually do have numbers in here. Looks like I just completely lost. Who knows where it went. So this is actually where you're gonna edit it though. Let's get rid of the tab. That's probably why it jumped off. Exploration. Okay, there, it's still there. It jumped because I added to, there's a tab automatically in there. So there would be 2 tabs. And since I edited this tab, it like went crazy. So don't freak out if that happens because you just gotta edit it a little bit. I'm gonna add a space in here though. Maybe I'll do this. So now in the beginning of that, it has exploration 1. And I'll add a character style to it.
Is that just a carrot and then like a number symbol?
Yep. It's already in there, default. So all I did was add exploration, and I got rid of the tab. There's a little tab in there too. You don't want that. So this is table of contents, exploration. I'll make it bold. It doesn't really need to be bigger or anything. I mean, you can mess with this. Maybe I want it small caps. That's all right. It bothered me a little bit, but it's okay. So then to do more, all you would do is make a new line with a hard return and say paragraph, if I can spell, indicator, extent, tab. This would be, what, 4 to 5? And that is way too much spacing. So I'll go back in here, indents and spacing. Let me do that's better. Did half a pica. So you will have to go in here though and actually type in all of your things. I think the next one was paragraph, indicator, extra leading maybe? Tab, 6, option dash for an end dash, 7. You would have to do this for each one, but at least you're not having to type exploration a bunch of times and adding all the dots. So I'm just gonna copy this so you get the gist. And let's get to 24. And put this wherever. I mean, you'd add a nice little table of contents header line too, whatever your design is for this. And we'll do cover designs, we'll talk about that next week.